Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Sayyida Bukhari. Welcome back to my channel The Mat Corner, and today in this tutorial we are going to be discussing about the side determination of the femur bone. So let's begin. So guys, for the side determination of the femur bone, the head of the femur, which is marked over here in the blue color, should face medially. So the head of the femur should be facing medially so that it can articulate with the hip bone to form the hip joint. And this red marked area is the greater trochanter of the femur bone, and that greater trochanter should face laterally while the head of the femur was facing medially, and this red marked area, which is the greater trochanter, should face laterally or should be present at the lateral side of the body. So guys, by remembering these two things, that the blue rounded area or the head of the femur should face medially and the red marked area, which is the greater trochanter, should face laterally, you guys can differentiate between what should be present on the medial side and what should be present on the lateral side of the body. Now guys, in order to differentiate between the anterior surface and the posterior surface of the femur bone, so this is the side view of the femur bone. As you guys can see that the anterior surface is more like a convex and the posterior surface is a pointed surface and it is a sharp surface. If you will have a bone in your hand, you guys can easily identify it that the posterior border is more like a prominent border and it is a pointed border. So the P for posterior and P for pointed. So the posterior border is the pointed border while the anterior border is more like a convex border. And furthermore, on the posterior side, you will find out that the posterior border also have the popliteal surface or the popliteal fossa in it. So you guys can see that on the posterior surface there is a fossa present that is marked over here in the light green color. So this light green color area marked is the popliteal fossa. This popliteal fossa should be present on the posterior side of the bone. So guys, by remembering the 4 key points, you guys can identify that the femur bone belongs to which side of the body. Firstly, the head should face medially. Secondly, the greater trochanter should be facing laterally. And to differentiate the anterior and the posterior surface, so the anterior surface is more like a convex and the plane surface, while the posterior surface is P for posterior and P for pointed. So the posterior surface is a pointed surface, and on the lower end, you guys will find out the popliteal fossa on the posterior surface of the bone. So by putting this femur bone back into the skeleton over here, you guys can see that this femur bone belongs to right side of the body. So how it belongs to the right side? Firstly, over here you guys can see that the head of the femur is facing medially so that it can articulate with the hip bone to form the hip joint over here. And on the lateral side there is the presence of the greater trochanter, which is present laterally, and here on the posterior surface you guys can see that this fossa, the popliteal fossa, is present posteriorly over here. So guys, this is all about the side determination of the femur bone. I hope you guys understand it, and if you do so, then make sure to like and subscribe to the Mat Corner. Take care. Bye bye.